Hello summoners and welcome back to another ProGuides video. My name is Kellen and today I'll be going over 7 riddles that only the top 5% of League players can answer perfectly. These questions will be focused around fundamental decision making in a solo queue environment. If your rank is below Diamond 4, then chances are a couple of these you'll probably get incorrect. However, if you end up acing all 7 questions, then it's probably a pretty good indication that you're a lot better at League of Legends than you might think. Also guys, today's question of the day is, what is the story behind your gamer tag? Mine is basically just a shortening of Riven's tag, which is the Exile, and that's how I got Exile. Let us know your answers in the comments down below. I'm really interested in where you guys came up with your names. But also, I wanted to know, are you always getting ganked, constantly demolished? Well, don't worry because we've got you covered. ProGuides is the #1 proven way to quickly level up your League of Legends skills. Whether you're looking for tier lists, champion guides, coaching, or courses from your favorite pro players, ProGuides is where you'll find them. Even players like Nightblue, Bunnyfufu, BoxBox, and Locodoco support ProGuides. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description down below and start improving right now. And with that stuff being said, let's jump into the video. Let's start off with a basic jungle gank scenario, since I think that most of you should be able to get this one correct. You're playing as Jace top lane against a Nasus, and you've managed to chunk him down to 60% health. You're constantly zoning him away from the minion wave and currently have a pretty good CS lead. Meanwhile, your jungle Lee Sin has just finished clearing the topside Scuttle Crab and is back to full health. What is the correct play for you to do here? Is it A, to slowly push the wave and allow Nasus to get the melee minions but poke him every single time that he goes for the casters? Or is it B, push the lane that you can gain full priority and then help Lee Sin invade and ward the enemy topside jungle? Maybe it's C, stack up your own wave and slowly push his into tower, that way you can dive Nasus with Lee Sin and push in your wave. Or D, hard push the wave and recall, that way you can get back to lane with an item lead and then preserve your teleport for dragon. Take a few moments to think about it and pause the video if you need some more time. The correct answer is C, slowly push the wave into his tower and dive Nasus with your jungler. The reason behind this is because this option would punish the enemy Nasus by far the hardest. Lee Sin and Jace are very strong early game champions who can cleanly dive in an early game Nasus every single time. In addition to this, Nasus would be likely forced to blow both summoner spells and miss a ton of CS while he's dead. Lastly, Lee Sin will be able to path around back topside later on and continue punishing the Nasus who has no flash and is probably multiple levels behind at that point. If you got that answer right, then that's awesome. If you didn't, that's completely fine, because what's important is that you learn from these scenarios and implement this knowledge into your games. Next up, we have our second question, which will be slightly harder, but still pretty easy relative to what's coming up. You're playing as Caitlyn ADC with a Janna support, and you've come back from a fresh recall, buying your BF sword in a control ward, so you're all ready to play the lane. The entire bot side of the map is completely dark, but your jungle Lee Sin is clearing his bottom side camps. The enemy Alistar is missing on the map, but their Varus ADC has just been spotted at his tier 1 tower. As your wave crashes into the enemy tower, what should you go do next? Should you A, continue pressuring the lane and hit the tower for some plates while poking down the Varus whenever possible? Or should you B, walk up to the river and start applying vision near the dragon and the jungle entrances? Maybe you should C, hide in the furthest lane brush and then ambush the enemy bot lane when they overstep. Or finally, maybe you should D, walk back to a safe distance and allow your support to roam mid. Once again, take a few moments if you really need to think about it, and pause the video if you need some more time. The correct answer should be B, walk up the river and start applying vision near the dragon and the jungle entrances. The reason behind doing this is because getting vision near the bottom side of the map allows you to be more flexible with your next plays after that. Since you know if the bottom side of the map is an isolated 2v2, you have a plethora of options. You can either pressure the enemy tower for plates like we said, or play aggressively and poke out the enemy duo, or even just start the dragon with your jungler. The way that you want to think about it is that not necessarily doing some of the other things in this example, the other answers, is inherently wrong. It's just that you should do this first. You should go and apply vision before you do walk up to the plates and hit the Varus. Now on to question 3. It's 27 minutes into the game and you're playing Pike Support. The other 9 players in the game have just died from a Baron fight, but no one has managed to finish the objective. You have a full 30 seconds before anyone else respawns. So what's the correct play here? Should you push out the mid lane wave and then actually roam to a side lane and push that out as well? Should you B, start stealing the enemy red buff and then do the bottom side scuttle crab? Should you C, recall and place vision around the map while clearing any enemy wards? Or should you D, path towards the bottom lane and force a champion from the enemy team to match you? The correct answer is C, recall and place vision around the map while clearing enemy wards. Once you used up all your wards again, then you'll want to recall one more time and follow your team. When the enemy team respawns, they will likely clear 2 to 3 of your wards, so you'll want to have more available right away from your support item. Vision is super important because it enables your team to make calculated low-risk plays like the Baron. Next up, we have question number 4. You're playing Kennen mid and your team is currently taking Baron. You have full pressure and vision around the top side of the map and can see all 5 enemies coming towards the pit. What is the correct play here? Should you A, flash and charge at them immediately with your ultimate to buy enough time for your team to finish Baron? Should you B, path towards the inside of the Baron pit to help your team finish the objective and then team fight afterwards? Should you C, cut the enemy team off at the entrance with your E and then walk back and forth to threaten and engage? Or should you D, get into a flank position and wait patiently for the enemy team to overstep? The correct answer is D, get into a flank position and wait patiently for the enemy team to overstep. Since your team has full pressure and vision on the top side of the map, it forces the enemy team to commit to a risky play. They are charging in blindly towards the Baron and will have zero vision of your flank positions. Once the enemy team walks past a specific point, you can use your flash and ultimate to ambush them for a devastating amount of damage. In addition to this, your stuns and Zhonya's will buy enough time for your team to finish off the Baron and then clean up the fight afterwards. Alright, on to question number 5. You're playing as Kled top lane and the enemy top lane tier 1 tower is down. At this point in the game, you're easily able to push and gain quick lane priority. Basic wards are established in their jungle, the Rift Herald is down, and the enemy tier 1 mid tower is also down. So what should you do next? Should you A, run down towards mid for a potential gank or dive? Should you B, run towards your Krugs and clear them? Should you C, recall and purchase items then walk back to top lane, catch the wave? Or should you D, keep applying pressure topside and then push towards their tier 2 and try to get it? The answer is A, run down towards mid lane for a potential gank or dive. Since basic vision has already been established, you want to run to the mid lane and look for a play. By doing this, you can catch out or even dive the enemy mid laner by using your Kled ultimate and then pressure the enemy tier 2 mid tower. Also, think about it like this. Since the enemy mid lane tier 1 is down, you can even walk right through the mid lane and try to make a play bottom. Either way, your objective is to use your team's priority and vision to be proactive. Next up, we have question number 6. You're playing Jarvan in the jungle, and you notice that the Rift Herald is down. You also notice that the dragon is spawning in about 2 minutes, and your ultimate is ready in 80 seconds. In addition to that, all of your camps are up, and you currently have 3 winning lanes. What should your next move be? Should you A, fully clear your top side camps from Raptors to Red to Krugs, and then look to gank or dive the enemy top laner? Should you B, start farming from your top side towards the bottom side of the map, and then go make a play once your ultimate is ready? Should you C, take the red buff and then gank mid lane, then take blue buff and farm towards the top side of the map to dive the enemy top? Or should you D, clear your red buff and then invade the enemy top side jungle? Once you finish taking their camps, set up a dive for either top or mid lane. The answer should be B. Start farming from your top side camps towards the bottom side and make a play once your ultimate is up. The reason you want to do this is because this is going to be your most efficient path towards the objective, which is dragon in 2 minutes. Since your ultimate is up about 40 seconds before the next dragon, that means that you can use that time to secure a kill and then get the easy Drake once you have a numbers advantage. Diving top would mean that your bot lane is vulnerable to an enemy gank or aggression since they saw you on the opposite side of the map. This would then lead to the enemy jungler having priority on the next Drake and that could be game changing. Lastly, our final question at number 7, and this one might even be a little bit tricky. You are playing Syndra in the mid lane and you're against a Victor. You've both just finished a heavy trade and both of you are low with all abilities on cooldown. However, you have a slight health advantage and he is slightly outside of your auto attack range. Both players' flashes are available. What should you do in this situation? Should you A, flash forward and gamble on your Q to try to land the finishing blow? B, move back towards your tower and then recall immediately because you might not want to risk dying here? Should you C, move forward and threaten a flash Q but don't actually do it? Or D, last hit the minions and stay in lane as long as needed? Maybe you need to get an item or something like that. I'll be honest, most players in this scenario probably would have chose option number 1. However, that option is incorrect because there is a possibility that Victor also flashes, which means that you trade summoner spells. The safer call and correct answer is C. Move forward and threaten and flash Q, but don't actually do it. Having your flash available in a winning matchup such as this opens up many more avenues rather than going for a very risky play. If Victor doesn't bite, then you know you have two options. You could shove the wave and recall or call his bluff and then genuinely do flash Q on him. At that point it's up to you, but I'd probably go for the safer route and just recall, but you never know. Maybe you call his bluff and he likes to gamble and he doesn't actually recall. That's gonna do it for our 7 questions that only top 5% of League players can answer perfectly. Tally up how many of these questions that you got right and let us know your score down below. Don't be ashamed, it's okay if you didn't get all of them right. We are always here to help you improve. Also, if you managed to get all 7 correct, then that's awesome and you're already on a great path towards high elo. Fundamental decision making is extremely important for all players of all elos, so I really hope that this video helped you. It's something different, but we wanted to try it. If you enjoyed watching this video, then please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel to be notified of our next video. Also, make sure you check out our website for in-depth content and guides that were made by your favorite pro players. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the Rift.